Girl, Queen Dee Dee, yeah, she's tried to say it. However, let's see what interesting we have here. We have a woman, hey black lady, she says child-free women are leaving the heavy lifting to parents. Let's understand, what does all of this mean? Child-free clearly tells me she has no children. So because she have no children, it's something dealing with heavy lifting. I wonder what heavy lifting she's referring to. So let's listen into this video and understand exactly what we're faced up against here. Because I know one thing she's telling us, good luck with that.
We're going to be doing. So go ahead and populate the earth and stuff. Don't stop.
Ooh, populate the earth.
I'm assuming this is a woman, but if it's not and it's a man, this is to all the women out there who still feel this way. While you're too busy populating the earth and being fruitful and multiplying and being what a black woman is supposed to be, getting close to unaliving on birthing tables and stuff, me and the other child-free women, we're going to be out in the world living our best lives, creating gardens, traveling, trying new foods, meeting new people, stuff like that. Sipping mimosas at noon at somebody's bed and breakfast. That's what we're going to be doing. So go ahead and populate the earth and stuff. Don't stop at 3 or 4 kids, right? Have like 24 of them little shits, right? And that way you can pick up the slack for the child-free women that are not going to do it, and we're going to be out living our best lives. Good luck to you.
Replay.
I'm assuming this is a woman, but if it's not and it's a man, this is to all the women out there who still feel this way.
Okay, let's stop. So clearly, yes, I'm getting. So it's a message here. This message says it takes a woman to build a family. It takes a woman to build and maintain a nation. The Holy Spirit dwells in temples not made by hands. I thought you was black woman. Can't be. A black woman is a reflection of this fertile ecosystem called Earth and the cosmos. Hey, we all been hurt. I thought you were stronger than that, sis. What the hell? I need to dig into this because brilliant and most accurate description, Teresa Lee. It takes a woman to build a family. It takes a woman to build and maintain a nation. The Holy Spirit dwells in temples not made by hands. I thought you was a black woman. Can't be. A black woman is a reflection of this fertile ecosystem called Earth and the cosmos. Hey, we all been hurt. I thought you were stronger than that, sis. What the hell? Like, okay, so let's address this comment first. If a person decides that they don't want to be fruitful, isn't that their choice? I mean, you got the right to be fruitful if that's what you choose. The only thing is, make sure you choose the right mate. Because if you choosing a mate that's looking for a woman to be fruitful with, then you're not going to get anywhere if you're dealing with a woman that didn't want kids. So you got to choose right from the beginning. Those are the questions that you have to ask in order to move forward in any relationship. Or there will be no relationship. Let's be clear. The next thing is, it takes a woman to build and maintain a nation. It takes a woman to build a family. It takes a couple to build a family. That's not just a woman's job. We're going to be clear on that. That's not just a woman's job to build a family. The family got to come from the male, and the family got to come from a female as well. Not just a woman building families. And I know sometimes that seems to be an issue because people feel like the man is supposed to go to work, but then when they come home, they supposed to have dinner served to them, even though the women go to work too, even though the women do a lot of more of the maintaining when it comes to the children and more of the maintaining when it comes to the house. But see, that's where we need to start working on stuff like that, because who do you think getting more wore out, especially if they're not getting the attention from the man that they need? Because if a man going and he working all day long and then he coming in and he looking for his plate to be sat down in front of him, then I mean, who's setting down the plate in front of the woman? Who's making sure those kids are taken care of, getting ready for bed, doing homework, and then getting up on time for school the next day and getting taken to school or directed to the bus stop? It takes two people to build this village. Unless you have an at-home wife, then she will take on bulk of the work. But guess what? Being an at-home wife is not an easy job. The Holy Spirit dwells in a temple not made by hands. I thought you was a black woman, but the holy temple not made by hands comes in more than one color and gender. So the hands that you're saying is built is only a woman's black hands? Okay. I thought you was a black woman. I mean, when I look at her, I see brown. I see races being black, but I don't know. Do you think she bleached her whole body? I see a black woman. Okay. She can't be black. Why can't she be black? Why is it that she can't be black? I see a black woman right here with brown skin. Okay, so far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 insults so far. And we're only at can't be a black woman. That's 6 insults to me. Let's keep going. A black woman is a reflection of this fertile ecosystem called Earth. No, a woman is a reflection of this so-called ecosystem. But let's be clear. A man is a reflection as well, because without that male, there will be no fertilization. Let's be clear. And we're all on Earth, not just women, and damn for sure not just black women. Y'all just populate, multiply, and monetize and get paid more off black women. We all have been hurt. But being hurt might not have anything to do with not wanting to have children. This is a tongue-twisting twangler. I thought you were stronger than that, sis. Okay, so if she don't want kids, if she choose not to bring kids in this cruel world of being beat up by the white man, beat up by the white woman, beat down by the black man, and beat the F up by the sister, the system, that make you weak? If she don't want a kid, that makes her weak? That makes her not a part of the system? That makes her not being on Earth? What the hell? What is all of that about? So you threw stones right there, and then you opened up a beast with a tongue that she might learn to regret. Because sometimes you got to be careful what you say. But you also got to be careful how you antagonize a person. You got to be careful how you poke the pig. See, it goes more than one way. We got somebody leaving a comment, which they hid their face. So we don't know if it's a male. We don't know if it's a black male. We don't know if it's a female. And we don't know if it's a black female. We don't know who it is that left this comment. But I know we got a big problem within that one box. Because so far I counted 6 insults. I didn't even go through the other half. So just in this paragraph alone, you insulted someone because their views may not be the same as your views. Let's keep going.
While you're too busy populating the earth and being fruitful and multiplying and being what a black woman is supposed to be, getting close to unaliving on birthing.
I understand where you're going to address, okay, if you want to be fruitful, if you want to multiply, if you want to follow your heart and be in relationships and bring children in the world and have someone other than a male love you, be able to teach someone else, be able to leave your staple in the world, be able to pray for your kid to come up and maybe not go through things that you've gone through. Maybe leave your last name here on earth. Maybe have a reason to sit back and take care of grandkids. I understand what you're saying on that. But where you lost me at was when you had to throw in the part laying on the table being unalived. You had a mama that brought you here, girl. You had a daddy that helped her produce you. I'm sure you had a mama that went through struggles, girl. And I'm almost looking at you, and I don't know if your mama's still alive or if your mama is dead when she had you. But wonder how you would have felt if your mother has passed on due to birthing a child. Would you make a comment like that if it wasn't coming from a hurt place? Being hurt that your mom birthed the kid and passed away. But if none of those apply to you, do you not understand that there are other women out there that went through that? But you made it out like I made it out. Don't learn to throw stones and throw water on people trying to get a get back statement. See, that's called a get back statement. Being unalived. See, that's harsh words, and you look like you're young. So y'all got to be careful about entertaining things. You got to be careful about feeling as though you gonna get the last word or you up on somebody. See, you got to be careful. There's a lot of women that are unalived because they brought children in this world. But hey, did you have any kind of man that went up in you? Or did you have a man that came out of you by now? Because if you did, guess what? That man may have had a mama that birthed a kid, and maybe she did leave. You may have a friend whose mama may have birthed the kid, and they passed away. But I wonder how you feel about that friend. I wonder how you feel about that man. I wonder, do you understand their pain if you know anybody that's been through that before? See, so to make a statement like that because you're trying to do a get back on somebody, see, it ain't cute. It don't sit well. You got to be careful. I understand you might not have liked that statement up there, but as a woman, you may find a man if you ain't gay. And even if you are gay, they got multiple ways nowadays for you to bring a child in this world without having intercourse with a man. So let's be careful, because just because you feel like that today, you don't know what the Lord got in store for you the next year or two or the next couple of months. So you make that statement because you're trying to get back at a comment. But the reality to it is, yes, there are a lot of women out there like that. But let's make sure it's not someone, a friend, or someone that you know, that parent may have gone through that. That's not a nice statement to say, young lady.
Labels and stuff. Me and the other child-free women, we're going to be out in the world living our best lives.
You're going to be out in the world living your best life. But I tell you, while you're out in the world living your best life, I wonder, do you ever have to go back home to your mammy for advice? I wonder why you out there living your best life in the world, while you sipping on your mimosas. I wonder, did you ever have to pick up the phone and call your mama? I wonder, did you have to ever pick up the phone and call one of your friends' mama? I wonder if you ever had to pick up the phone and call one of your men mama. I wonder if you ever had to pick up the phone and call your girlfriend mama. Why? Because you needed some love on the inside. So you got to be careful about things like that. You throw stones like that, and you don't know that you're cracking a whole lot of glass houses and windows. So while you sipping your mimosa, let's look down in your heart and see if you needed anybody's mama that had to birth one of y'all or one of those friends that you sipping mimosas with. Because see, what y'all don't understand is this. Especially when you raised up by all women, or you raised up by a mom and a dad may have not have been around. Where do you think those soft skills and understanding come from? Where do you think that loving nature come from? That loving nature comes from another woman. So I'm sure at some point in your life, one of them same women that have been fruitful, they were fertilized by a man. I wonder, have you ever needed them? Have you ever needed their encouraging words? Have you ever needed a hug from them? Have you ever needed advice? Have you ever needed a conversation? Have you ever needed anything from them? See, there's no problem because you don't want to be fruitful. There's no problem because you don't want to be fertilized. There's no problem because you don't want any children, if not now or ever. There's no problem with that, but your get back is a problem. Your get back is the problem, and your say back is a problem. See, be careful what you say, because you look like you a young buck. And I'm sure if I ever talk to you, you got a broken heart somewhere in there. And you know what it'll take? It'll take a woman like me, a mother, that wasn't unalived on the table. I'm still alive. But it's y'all young kids that really need the right kind of upbringing. Not to say you had a bad upbringing, but sometimes you got so many women out there, girls out there, just like you have boys out there. Y'all go astray. And y'all go to doing what you want to do. You go say what you want to say. But you know what? One thing about it, the Lord always bring you back. So to make statements like this, I can go a little deeper, but I'm trying to pity you. Only reason why I'm trying to pity you, because it looked like someone threw a stone at you. But just because they threw that type of stone at you, that didn't mean you have to throw it back that way. You could have addressed that comment speaking specifically to that person, not speaking specifically to women. Women that are fruitful, women that have had children, women that have been in a relationship. I mean, a woman that birthed you. How about that?
Creating gardens, traveling.
You're going to be out there creating gardens. But how long you think you're going to be able to work in that garden without having the help from somebody? You think you're strong now? So even when you create that garden, even when you grow that garden, you're going to be out there in that garden by yourself. So you ain't going to need no help from nobody, huh? So you're going to always be in the garden by yourself, or you're going to be in the garden with your man. Maybe what you should have thought about, well, while I'm out in my garden, maybe this is something I could teach one of my children. Because I doubt I'll see you out in the damn garden. Not when you just got through sipping mimosa. What, you going to sprinkle some of the dirt in the drink? Because if you in the garden, if you ain't got on no gloves, you got sand all around your hand, all on your damn kneecaps, all kind of old things.
Trying new foods.
Try new foods. There's nothing wrong with trying new foods. Hopefully nobody don't poison you. You need your mammy or somebody else's mama. They birth you back and get you back to health. So try all the new foods you want. Don't have babies if you don't want to, but don't hit other women in the head with these statements.
People, stuff like that. Sipping mimosas at noon.
Sipping mimosas at noon. So I'm wondering how you going to get the money to sip your mimosas at noon. So you traveling all around the world. That means you got plenty of money right now. Good savings. You don't have any children. You're already going to get your gardening together. You're not going to be unalive on nobody's table birthing a child. So you got a whole big world ahead of you. You got a whole world ahead of you, girl. But you going to sip your mimosas at noon. Who you going to sip them with? All the other women with no kids? So y'all conversation going to be about sipping mimosas gardening, traveling the world. And when you travel in the world, you looking to meet a man, or are you meeting women? Because it don't matter if you with a man or a woman, the heart come into place. And see, when the heart come into place, that's when the family start being born. That's when that structure of unity start being put in place. So nobody's stopping you from traveling the world. Nobody's stopping you from wanting to have children. But what I'm stopping you is keep that tongue intact. Sometimes you got to be careful what you say. And I'm going to tell you, just to let you know you're not by yourself. And I've told this story before. Just me not having a woman in my life, and then the women that came in my life, just envious and jealous of me, just because I'm me. I didn't want children. I did not want kids at all. I was 18 years old and I went to get my tubes tied. They told me I had to come back when I was 22. I came back when I was 22. The doctor told me I still couldn't get my tubes tied because I had to have a man to sign off. I was livid. Like, you don't get to tell me if I want my tubes tied or not. You don't get to tell me a man got to have a signature on my body. If I say I don't want no goddamn kids, I said I didn't want none. I was angry. But I'm going to tell you what happened. I was married then. And I didn't have no kids. But a few years later, I ended up pregnant with my son. That was such an experience until it formed my life. It taught me so many different things. It honestly taught me how to love on the other side by teaching my children how to love and be treated and treat others the way I always prayed for people to finally treat me. I wonder what I would have done had I not had my 2 children and I lost one. I wonder how I would have felt had I not had children. But I'm going to tell you, even at the times that I didn't want children, I honestly wouldn't have made a statement like that. I never made a statement like that because I just didn't want kids. But what you saying, you trying to come for a comment, but you hitting the souls of a lot of women. And remember, it's a woman that brought you here, not a man.
At somebody's bed and breakfast. That's what we're going to be doing.
And make sure while you at somebody's bed and breakfast, you don't have to lay down in that bed and need a woman to be over you. They help assist you out that bed. Because maybe something happened while you was eating breakfast.
So go ahead and populate the earth and stuff. Don't stop.
Go ahead and populate the earth. So when you say go ahead and populate the earth, it looks like you might be in some sort of truck or something like that. You do know whoever the owner is, whether you working for you or not. You know it's probably owned by a man or a woman that's a part of this population. So what happens if all women decided to be like you and your friends or whoever you got this rally with where y'all not going to be bearing children? Imagine if everybody stopped bearing children. What you think going to happen? Who you going to need to drive around? Because everybody get old one day or the other. So when you say population honestly is what's going to keep you employed. Population is what's going to keep you to be able to travel. Population is going to be how you can sip mimosas. Population is how you're going to be able to be with your friends. Population is why or how you're going to be able to be in the garden. Because you got to go somewhere to buy the seeds. And who you think producing the seeds? Somebody in the population that some woman have birthed. See, no matter which way y'all talk about it, a woman is always going to be a need and a requirement. And you as a woman entertaining a comment like that, but even putting other women in it, That's low and it's dirty. And maybe one day you will come back to this video and say, I didn't mean it like that. I just didn't like the comment they made. But I didn't realize I was throwing women in that have been through a struggle to keep my black ass here.
Had 3 or 4 kids, right? Have like 24 of them little shit.
24 of them little SHITs. But you forgot you a part of them SHIT S's as well. Rude.
Right? And that way you can pick up the slack for the child-free women that
picking up the slack for the child-free women. So when you say pick up the slack, I would appreciate you elaborating. I would appreciate you telling me, what do you mean picking up the slack for all the child-free women? Because believe it or not, child-free women, a lot of times, y'all more problems. Y'all got more issues on the inside than anybody because you don't really got nobody to get it out with. You really ain't got nobody to love you unconditionally, which have nothing to do with sex. You really don't have nobody to love you unconditionally that don't have nothing to do with you traveling the world. You really don't have nobody unconditionally to love you, whether you sipping a mimosa or not. You really don't have nobody loving on you, whether you're at the garden or not. You really don't have nobody loving you if your breath ain't stank. See, when you get a kid and they get to love you from the inside, they don't care what your hair look like. They don't care the diseases you have. They don't even give a damn how you smell. That's when you have a kid. That's a different type of love. When I look at my daddy's wife, she didn't know how it feel to love me or my brothers. Why? Because to this day she have no children. Yes, she was a stepmom. She was a wicked one that didn't give a damn. Why? Because she only know how to get with a man that dicked her down. You know how deep that love go? It go deep, but there's a whole circle right there. You got to have the other half of the heart fulfilled too. If your heart only fulfilled because of a man, you ain't fulfilled your heart. Be careful what you say, little girl. Hopefully you can make it to an age where you don't sit back in the rocking chair, still gardening, still sipping mimosa, but don't have a kid to tip. Give me a toast. Let me go to graduation. That's a harsh statement.
Are not going to do it, and we're going to be out living our best lives.
And you're going to only live your best life for so long because you think that clean skin of yours going to always be clean. You think that skin of yours going to always be with no this and no that. You think that skin going to stay like that. You think you're going to always have that mind frame. You think you're going to still be running around like you 24, 25 years old. Do you really think it works like that? Do you really think your ass ain't going to get old? Do you really think your coochie ain't going to get old? Do you really think somebody ain't going to want to just sit and sip mimosas with you? Do you really think people going to be traveling around the world with you all your life? When do you think you're gonna sit down? And when you sit down, who the hell you think gonna still be listening to you? Because all them old childbearing friends you got right now, how long you think they're gonna be non-bearing? And you gonna still be sitting over there with your garden. You gonna be still sitting over there with your damn mimosa. You still gonna be sitting over there with your little cap on, and you still gonna be driving in the truck, huh? At 60.
Good luck to you.
Good luck to you too. And we wish you nothing but the best. And we wish you don't have to come back on here again and re-elaborate that you didn't mean to say what you said. Comments. As a mom of a teen, I approve this message. This is from White Woman, of course. I approve this message. Every woman should do what is best for her. Here's another thing to consider. My teenager will probably not be able to afford an apartment or a house, so he'll be at home with us for a while. If he can't afford to have an apartment, he won't be able to afford kids. That's another thing. People can barely afford to feed themselves. Kids are expensive as F. So I guess she regret having her son because she didn't teach him how to go to a job, work, and save his money. Okay, white lady. Another lady, Mommy, said, some want to be mothers, some don't. Do what you feel. Exactly. However you feel, you do that. But you don't throw stones at other people in the interim of it. Mary here says, Sacrifice is not a competition. With or without children, life will bring you challenges and blessings. Thank God for the women who almost unalived herself to give you, dummy, the freedom to decide what you want. You. It's us that did it for you to have this decision. But don't throw stones. Sweet Pea. See, Sweet Pea here says, as a man who's married to a black woman, I'm tired of the narrative that gets pushed on black women like they're supposed to struggle through life. My wife stays at home. We have one baby girl and doesn't struggle at all. It's okay to be happy, and it's okay to be child free. It's okay if you want to be child free. Just don't beat the women up. That's not. Live your best life. But let's see what's happening. What happens when you get tired of that life that you see ain't the best? What happens when you want to love on something in someone and it don't have to have anything to do with intimacy? See, the problem with it is what you want out of life, nobody's knocking you. But your expression of other people that got the things in life that you don't want is my issue. If you don't want any children, don't have them. But don't come throwing insults about women who was unalived on the table, or you want to have this so many kids, but because you're a part of that bunch. Spice said, both types of WOCs are valuable. My grown child is a grandmother and all her children are grown and prosperous. We are all blessed. God has given from peace. God has given each person a purpose in life. Some are purposed to have children and some are not. There's women out there that can't even have kids, but they wish that they could. And then unfortunately or fortunately, we have women like you that don't want children. I was in your boat before. But I wasn't going around beating up women that had kids. It was me not having kids is because it was a personal preference of the way I was treated by women. That's why. I don't have any vendetta against women. They just didn't find me to be appealing. I mean, a stepmom just didn't like me because I'm a daddy's girl. I'm an only girl. My mom gave me up to my dad. Why? She probably couldn't help it. She had other children after that. Yeah, there was a neglect there inside of me. There was a neglect because I grew up honestly without that mother. That was one of my reasons for not wanting to have kids. Why? Because I felt like I was going to be a neglectful mom. I felt like I was going to follow the footsteps of women that mistreated me along my journey. I felt like I was going to be one of those women that friends and stuff where they didn't invite me to their functions and stuff. And if they did, it came with a cost for me. But just for me to sit back and start beating them and talking down about them because they had children, that wasn't right. I had my children late in life. It was late to me. I had my son, I was about 25 years old. Everybody else had kids in teenage. But I still wasn't beating them up. I was thankful to be able to be free. But when I had my kids, it was time for me to turn that leaf over. Now that I've raised my kids and my kids are grown, I'm on the other side of the leaf again. See, where you going at, I've already been there. I'm only telling you there's nothing wrong with being child-free. It's a problem with your tongue. The problem is the things that you've said. Just like there was a problem with this comment. So I say good luck to all y'all. Good luck to those that want a woman to be fruitful, and good luck to the women that don't want to be fruitful. Good luck to the men that don't want to be fruitful. Just be careful how you fruitless yourself.